Hey guys, so I'm probably spoiling the plot twist in this one, but this movie's from 1992, so you can kind of deal with it. But there seems to be people in the community who should take interest in this film who don't even seem to be aware of its existence. The Crying Game from 1992 is the precursor to, say, Brokeback Mountain, and I think possibly the best queer cinema film I know of or that I've seen. No, this isn't a popular thing to bring up on YouTube or, with anybody who reviews games and movies and such and talks about Star Wars and the like. But I cover a great deal of different genres of film. And I think that the LBGTQRSTLUV stuff has largely gotten out of hand to the point where they just want something in their own genre, and therefore everything's going to be about the gay agenda, the gay message, and all. This movie, written and directed by Neil Jordan, I think it was nominated for 6 Oscars, won 1 for Best Original Screenplay, to which I really can't deny it. This is a compelling story, and it's well acted and directed and such. But the twist here is that you don't get into it knowing what genre of film you're actually in. It's got you going one way, and it hits you, and it gets you going another, and I like that a lot. My brand of comedy goes that way. Setup, setup, setup. The punchline is something you didn't expect. With this said, it's, I guess it takes place about 1992. We got this guy, played by Forrest Whitaker, who's playing a British soldier. He is out at some carnival with some chick. I think his name's Jody and her name's Jude. And I got kind of confused about that, but I'm pretty sure he's Jody, okay? And it's weird seeing Forrest Whitaker as a British soldier, but I think this is the point where Forrest Whitaker really started to get taken seriously for things. Though it did take some time to really catch up to him, but, as far as Academy recognition and such. Well, he's going to go screw this chick off by the lake, but river, and then Stephen Ray shows up, and just kind of out of nowhere pulls a gun on him, captures him, put his bag on over his head, and they say, "Hey, we're IRA, Irish Republic Army, is that what it is? Soldiers. We know you're a British soldier, holding you hostage. We want to exchange you for another guy that they have, and they got 3 days to do so. Otherwise, we kill you." He's taking it pretty bad, of course. That's kind of downer news. He's like catatonic for 12 hours. When they lift the bag off his head to see if he's still alive, he tries to attack the chick. And Stephen Ray seems to spend a lot of time watching him. And they start to bond. And he finds that the guy has a sense of humor. He tells him a story about how he thinks Stephen Ray is actually a good guy. He's willing to take the bag off his head so it doesn't get, because it gets too hot in there. It's easier for him to breathe. He tells him the story of this frog and a scorpion. The scorpion needed to cross this river, or was it ocean or some shit? And the frog's like, "Okay, fine, I'll take it, but don't sting me, okay?" And it's like, "All right, fine." Then they get in the middle of the river, the waterway, and the scorpion stings him. It's like, "Hey, why are you doing that? We're both sinking. We're both going to die." The scorpion's like, "I can't help it. It's in my nature." And so he thinks that Stephen Ray is like the frog, he's a good guy. And there are some weird things that go on, though they make sense in the context of a prisoner locked up, has his hands tied behind his back. You don't want him freed. How's he going to take a piss? Well, Stephen Ray's got to pull it out and put it back in, right? Not something typically brought up in, say, a James Bond film. There's no concerns about how the WC is going to function or none of this. But in this film, it sets up with the larger theme of what is to transpire. Transpire, Jesus Christ. Well, eventually the third day comes, and there is no word of the British willing to release this guy they're holding. So they're going to take him out back and kill him. Stephen Ray had spent the night with him, because he's going to be the one charged with doing this. And he said, well, it made me feel better for spending the night with him. And they're like, oh, you're going to let him go? And no, I'm not. Whatever. Anyways, they're surprised that he didn't. He takes him out to the field, and Jody starts to run. Stephen Ray, by the way, his name's Fergus. So he catches up with him, tries to. But Jody has freed himself, and he's running off. And he's like, you're not going to shoot me in the back. Fergus seemed to want to shoot him in the back, but was hesitant to do so. He ultimately really didn't want to, but he didn't want the ramifications of this guy getting away necessarily. And then, bam, Jody gets hit by a truck in the road and then ran over. And so he gets killed by these army personnel that have shown up to blast this outfit. And they just indiscriminately start firing from like attack choppers and shit on the building where they were hit up. Kill somebody. Judy, is it? Jude? I think it's Jude. She gets away along with this other dude. But you'd think if there's a hostage thing, why just the straight shooting up? You know, did they instantly recognize, oh, hey, we ran over the hostage. I guess we can light the place up. I mean, that's coordinated a little too quick. Anyways, Fergus goes into hiding. And he heads over to, I think he heads over to England because forgot to bring this up. While he's bonding with Jody, Jody shows him this photo in his wallet of his girl. It's like, hey, why would you want to hook up with this chick if you say you have a girl? It's like, you guys set me up. Well, his girl, her name's Dill. Okay, and Stephen Ray kind of like, whoa, hey, she's pretty hot. And Joey's like, hey, if this goes bad, I know you're gonna have to shoot me. You know, it's happening. I want you to take her to the club. Tell her I was thinking about her. And it's like, oh, it's not gonna happen. Don't worry. Don't you be saying stuff like that. It's like, no, you go take her out. Tell her I was thinking about her. So Fergus goes and tries to find Dill. He's told where she's at. She's a hairdresser. She goes to this nightclub called the Metro. Interesting note here. The guy at the bar, the bartender, actor's name's Jim Broadbent. He kind of has the same role in Moulin Rouge, where he's like this, I don't know, bar owner, masters of ceremonies, something like that. Well, Stephen Ray, now he wants to be called Jimmy. He's following around this Dill, keeping an eye on her, got a haircut from her earlier. And she's like kind of teasing him at the bar, saying, hey, Jim Broadbent, tell him he's looking at me. Yep, I caught him looking at me and all this stuff. But then this guy shows up. I think his name was Davey. Slick back hair, rough. What's he wearing? Adidas tracksuit. You know that look, right? He shows up, starts harassing Dill. And then they head off. Go back to Dill's place and seem to hook up. And Stephen Wright's like, hey, that's kind of weird. But he's quite a bit into her. And they go on like a date. And as they seem to be trying to get things going, they go to the club some more. They're singing and shit. Dill sings The Crying Game, some song I haven't really heard of before. Anyways, the movie takes its name from. They go back to Dill's place, and they're about to get it on, and Dill is a guy. Bam. The Secret of the Crying Game. Oh, spoilers. And see, that's the magic of how this is pulled off. You don't sell this as, oh, hey, here's a gay movie. You say, here's a movie about an IRA soldier who's holding a guy hostage and they bond. Okay, that's how you get the people in. Appreciative, it's not like Brokeback Mountain, where they had to go, oh, hey, we need to have a whole lot of young actress boobs around. You know, because this is going to be about gay guys, but we don't get to see their dicks. We definitely want to see Anne Hathaway's nips, right? This movie doesn't do that. It doesn't try to ease the anxiety of the straight male in some kind of half-assed gay film way. Like, oh, hey, well, it's a movie about gay cowboys, but here's some boobs for you so you don't feel uncomfortable. This movie doesn't do that. It doesn't set itself up as what it is, and I like the way how you get this switch here. And with the Stephen Ray character, he's caught off guard. And it's like, well, why were you at the club if you didn't know? I thought you knew, and all this stuff. So he didn't know he was frequenting a gay bar. Now, I also want to point out that at no time in this movie is there any harassment towards the gay lifestyle. You don't have the typical, oh, hey, there's some graffiti on my car or my house. They're telling me to get out of town. We don't want you here. A fight. None of that stuff goes down over sexual identity. This is in 1992. Like, that's pretty bold. Is just England playing this stuff a little bit different than the U.S.? You know, is everybody in the U.S. considered so hatred-filled? I mean, I guess this movie just seems ahead of its time in a lot of ways. Well, eventually, the IRA catches up with Stephen Ray. The chick from earlier, she's got a different haircut now, looks trash. She looks like that hoe that always wants an Oscar, and now she's got one. You know, the chick from The Big Lebowski, the redhead, last Jurassic Park, Lost World stuff. Don't like her. Anyway, she's saying, look, there's this judge. We need you to take a hit on him. You got to make this up for us. You screw this up, we're killing you. Hey, we know about your girlfriend, too. You know, we know about her. Just saying. So he has to go do this hit, but he has this plan. He wants to turn Dill into a guy, temporarily at least. Gives her a haircut, has her put on Jody's cricket uniform, walk around like that. And so this guy's hoping Dill can get away from it, stay in the hotel. Dill doesn't do this. Dill actually... It's like out drunk one night, comes back to her. I'm using her here anyways, but comes back to her, as they call Dill in the movie, her apartment, is drunk, but as Stephen Ray falls asleep, he's got to wake up early in the morning to take out this judge, but gets tied up with stockings by Dill, and so he completely misses the appointment. IRA dude and chick are in the car and like, what's going on? What's taking? That's it. We're doing this ourselves. Guy walks over there with a submachine gun, starts shooting, seems to hit the judge, but gets some fire back at him, gets killed. Redhead chick now peels off, heads over to Dill's apartment, and now it's on, right? But Dill was told that this was the girl that got Jody killed, and you know, Stephen Ray had spilled the beans to her, that he had captured him, and this is how he knew about her and all this. Dill took it in stride, really, but didn't much care for this chick breaking in with a gun and stuff. Took Stephen Ray's gun, shot her, and then Stephen Ray takes the blame for it. You know, he has her get out of there, but as the cops show up and everything, he's cleaned the gun off, he's holding it and all, and now Stephen Ray's doing time for Dill. Want to point out a thing here. After Stephen Ray discovers that Dill is a man, he doesn't seem to be sexually attracted to Dill anymore. He's doing stuff because, and I feel like it could go either way here, to try to save an innocent life here because he owes it to Jody, in a sense. I mean, it's like, hey, took Dill to the apartment here, take your clothes off, and put these clothes on. You know, we're not doing that. Just here, put this on. We're gonna change your hair around. Oh, you'll like me better if I'm a guy. Yeah, sure, okay. Here, now put on the guy clothes. And it might have just been a trick to try to help Dill stay together here, but Dill didn't totally go along with it, staying in the hotel, and you know came back to the apartment, all this other stuff. But now he's in jail. He's being visited by Dill. I like the scene here. I like the smoky look of 90s shit that we don't have anymore. In the smoky, dust-filled room, and they're having a talk, and it's like, oh, hey, you're going to be doing time? Yeah, you got 2,000 some days. You know, but I'll be waiting for you and all this. It's like, okay, great. Well, you know, I appreciate what you did and all this. Well, it's in my nature. Well, what do you mean? See, I want to tell you, there's two kinds of people. There's frogs and there's scorpions. And then it plays out with some music, and you kind of hear the conversation in the background. And I like how that conversation came full circle. Stephen Ray's not like super energetic, charismatic, great looking dude or anything, but as this very normal everyman, I think that this is a good role for that. You ain't rooting against him because he didn't actually kill Jody. As we haven't actually seen him kill anybody. So we feel like he's caught up in some bad stuff, and this was a pretty damn good movie actually. And it might be outside your comfort zone, and I probably spoiled all this shit for you, but just that's the way it goes with these reviews anymore, right? I mean, hell, a movie can be a year old and people are telling me how things are going in it. What's the deadline for spoilers? I give The Crying Game 3.5 out of 4 stars.